Rich rising, y'all. Gratitude for cleansing and purifying any impurities, no negative energies, no negative entities. I declare and I decree, Ashe. Anything that is not meant to be around me, I banish right now as I speak, Ashe. Gratitude for protecting my home, protecting me, protecting the messages at this time, Divine Spirit. Thank you for the heart meme. Rich rising. Hey, Rich rising. I was just thinking about yesterday, you, Shyla. but also to everyone else. But I have noticed, certain people come in here, and they just go straight to supporting me. And I truly want to let you guys know that I really appreciate it. You come in here and you start reposting, you give me a heart me, you get to liking the live, sharing the live. It's like clockwork. And I really appreciate it, and I want you guys to know that I appreciate it also as well. I notice it, and it does not go overlooked. Also, I'm not always having that what's it called? I don't know, standard in a sense to where, you got to do it every single time. So don't, feel guilty, at times when you come in and maybe just kind of want to sit in the back a little bit. Okay. For those that usually are always in here. All right. But there's no obligation, but I do truly appreciate the fact that you guys be showing up for me. Much love to y'all. I really appreciate it. But I just thought I'd let you guys know, okay? So I had an odd dream this morning. Very disturbing also as well. And I haven't really, what's it called? Thank you. And I haven't really kind of put together the pieces of this dream, really, to be honest, because it was this morning. But Spirit was telling me to share in regards to this dream that I had. But I had a dream that I was arriving to some sort of destination with some of the people that were in my family. And so we was looking outside, and we was in the car at one point. So while we was in the car, we was looking outside, and we seen a red van pull up. So there was this red van that pulled up, and I could see inside the van. So inside the van was this man, this older white man, and then there was a heavyset black man that was driving the car. But there was this older black man, and I seen a little girl in like a cute little dress, like a kind of, it kind of looked like one of those dresses to where you kind of just dress up, for play, like those little play dresses. But the little girl was in the back, and that white man was massaging her back. So that was very disturbing. And then so following into the dream, we ended up in the house, as well as the men ended up in the house, and there was little Barbie dolls on the floor. And they were little naked Barbie dolls. So one of the white man, he came over and he had picked up one of the baby dolls. He picked up one of the naked baby dolls and he went somewhere. And then so all of a sudden I'm on the balcony. I'm on the balcony with some of my family members trying to escape or some shit. I don't know what was going on in regards to that. And then we ended up finding out about there was the black man that was in the back room. So there was guns and everything that was drawn out in regards to this. And so I ended up picking up a gun and found a gun. And then I started pointing it at the big black guy or whatever, the heavyset guy. And then my other family members ended up grabbing that man also as well, and pretty much got him on the floor. We couldn't find the little girl though, but there was a lot of explaining of in the dream of what they was doing in regards to this little girl, which was very disturbing, and why, like, kind of, it was very disturbing. I'm not going to get into details about that, but they were explaining kind of what they were doing, how they did it, and things of that nature. And so in that dream also as well, so pretty much my family, the people that I was with, we was like, let's show them how they feel or whatever case may be. So we ended up trying to, do some things in the back door, for that particular person. It was pretty gruesome. And then, so my mom was like, I'm trying to cement his, back door shut, so she grabs like some cement and, mixes some cement up. Like, it got really weird. So then, what happened? There was something that I said in regards to a repeated pattern happening, in regards to when I was talking to the man that we was doing this to. And I was like, there's something in regards to a repeating pattern, of, if you learn this type of behavior from someone because you may have been molested as a child. Okay. Trigger warning. So, this was something to where I don't know why that had came about, but this is significant. Okay. In regards to spirit talking about me talking about this today. Protect the children at this time. Okay. Pay attention to your children at this time. What I've been trying to figure out in regards to children that are being, molested in a sense, how are they acting? What do they act like? And I think that's one of the things that kind of really bothers me, because sometimes they don't necessarily act different in a sense, when these things are happening. But these are things that need to be talked about to your children, in regards to inappropriate touches, people that make them uncomfortable. We have to start paying attention to that. Okay. And we have to start making them aware of it also as well. Within our generation and society over time, predators hide within us because they're very charismatic. They're hidden in these schools, all of that sort. You eventually be seeing those people that be coming out, in regards to the school teachers, women and men teachers, trying to hook up with the children, doing inappropriate text messages with the children, all of that nature. So like I said, there are people that literally hide within plain sight. As well as, what was I about to say? It can be very uncomfortable to even think about, to where it's like, I don't even want to think about that, type of energy. And it's like, yeah, you don't want to think about that, but also at the same time, you don't want to be sorry, that certain situations happened, because of the fact that you kept wanting to put it away and not think about it, in regards to that. So it's like, at this time, be more vigilant, of who you're bringing around your children, who your children are going around. Listen to the conversations. A lot of time these kids, they get to having a completely different personality when they're at school, when they're not around you and things of that nature. Because they have been learning certain things in the home. And it's like when you get to that school and you finding out about your kid talking a certain type of way, or whatever the case may be, it's like, oh, that's my kid. My kid was saying that. Yeah, child. Yes. Your kid was saying that. Your kid was very grown. Like there was just a lot of things that has been going on in regards to your kid. And it's like, a lot of times we don't notice that, of what's going on because of the fact of, kids get to shifting and different when they're around certain people also as well. But that's very significant, okay, at this time. But Spirit led me to bring that up, okay, in regards to that. So pay attention to your children, talk to your kids about it, all right, early, really early as possible nowadays, because like I said, people, kids are on social media anyways, and there's a lot of things that kids know that we don't even think that they would know, also as well. But like I said, it's better for you to teach your child about their own body, and things that are inappropriate and things of that nature, than to just keep on, trucking it forward without letting them know, because it's like, oh, they're a kid, they shouldn't know. But what's sad about it is a lot of these kids know anyways, especially in grade school, okay? I've witnessed it, secondhand in regards to that, of seeing what these kids know. Okay, so it will like literally surprise you, all right? But, pay attention to that at this time. Start getting real personal, with your kids, very personal. More talking to them more. We be on the go and things of that nature. So it's like things are always kind of moving all the time. But there is a time to need to slow down within your home, your household, and see what's going on in your home right now. Okay, at this time. But Spirit's been bringing that up to me. We got to seeing the things about the Epstein files, that came out. And a lot of times they try to push the narrative as if this is kind of like, oh, this is just, one of those once in a lifetime things or once in a blue moon type of situations. No, this shit happens every day. And it's also happening very, very, very frequently, and way more than what it used to also as well, because it's been so easy to have access to children and women and things of that nature because of the fact of how distracted the society is. So, that's one thing that we need to do is start especially as feminines, if you're rising in your divine feminine energy, that's the whole point of our nurturing energy, is to protect these children, and to protect yourself and protect your home also as well, and being more vigilant in regards to what you're seeing. So, that's definitely something that we gotta, continue to tap into at this time. Also watching certain family members also as well is very significant as well. Okay, you can't always trust all these family members, and what's going on in regards to certain people. Pay attention, okay? The signs are there. Pay attention to your child's behavior patterns also as well, how they behave around certain people, if they kind of shy away from certain people, if they kind of feel uncomfortable around certain people, if they don't want certain people touching them also as well. Pay attention to that at this time. Pay attention to certain people that may want to, be very, close, very close with your kids, like, or a certain kid could be significant also as well. When we are in, especially women, when we're in vulnerable moments, because of the fact of needing help, desperation, and things of that sort, being overly worked and things of that sort, of, being very vulnerable, that makes easy access, for people to come in and, want to help you and things of that nature, because they can see it all on you. And it's like, you got to be more in your strength at this time, to really kind of, pay attention to certain people that may just be coming in because they got a different agenda. Okay. And this is another reason why I say a lot about, sleeping with different men or having different men in your home or going from one man into the next man, and it's just like you think it's a norm or whatever the case may be. Let me go ahead and get up under another man so I can get up over and get over this man. And it's like, you're not even thinking about your own children when it comes to this. And it's like that's where we need to start thinking about that. Because you don't know who's coming up in your house, regardless if they present themselves as a certain way, of being someone who can be trusted. That's the whole reason of being a predator. Okay. A predator is somebody who is a lot of times trustworthy. You can trust them most of the time because they want to be trusted so that they can be around your children, so that they can prey, on the weak. So they're not going to out the blue, act those type of ways. You may need to look up certain things in regards to, what the FBI or just kind of what in general certain, departments that have had these, intellectual examinations of predators over time and see what that evidence is. Okay. But like I said, most of the time it's people that are closest to you, of what was in the statistics, as well as people that you wouldn't have thought would do so, because like I said, they're very, very clever in the way of how they move. Okay. Just think of it also when it comes to narcissists, also as well. Narcissists are very clever. When you think about narcissists, it's like, oh, they was just this perfect man, in the beginning, and like for a year, for 2 years, they was just a perfect man, and then all of a sudden they flipped a switch, type of energy. And it's like, that's how you got to kind of think of it as, in regards to certain people that are doing those type of, things. We got to quit putting that behind us, in regards to those type of things that are happening, right now. Because there was a couple years ago, I think it was honestly in 2020, and I had shared a post on like my personal page about CPS losing a lot of children, and it's like all this is just kind of just happening all in front of our face about sex trafficking has got even heavier. A lot of those missing children from the CPS homes and things of that nature are getting sex trafficked. Also as well. So it's like a lot of these kids are being pulled out of their own homes in bad situations and going to even worse situations. And it's like, we got to get out of that energy of, just thinking that this is just the norm, or that these is things that just kind of happen once in a lifetime. But no, they're literally happening right now in front of our face every day, all day. Okay. So yeah. So we got to start being more in tune with the kids at this time and protecting the children. All right, let's cleanse that energy. One other thing, that Spirit is bringing up right now is memory. And sometimes when a child is going through those type of situations, they take their mind protects them. Their mind protects them. So their mind will take them out of the situation that they're going through at that time. And this is what kind of creates that blocked memory, childhood memory, when they get older, to where some people don't even know that they have went through certain, sexual abuse, because they don't remember it, or it's planted in their brain, it's in their mind, but they put it away so many times, or their mind protected them of what was actually happening, to where they don't remember it. But the thing is the body remembers. So the body remembers when the body is being sexually assaulted or sexually abused. I'll bring up an example. There's somebody that I know that has, I was talking to about this type of things, and they said there was something that about I was picking up on energy that this person actually was possibly touched as a child. And so one of the things that this person had shared with me is that there was a time where one of their partners was, trying to, get some in the middle of the night, and kind of was coming under the covers. And so this had like this person that woke up, very like angry, upset, like very kind of just disturbed. And she didn't know why she was feeling disturbed like that. And so she, that thought had came across. And so the person that, was trying to get some at that time was like, what's going on? Was there something that happened when you was, young, or something happened, whatever the case may be? And it's interesting that he actually said that, but she doesn't remember anything about, anything going on. But one thing that has happened is she has been very hypersexual. So it's like she's been very hypersexual since she was younger, or since she was in high school, whatever the case may be, to where it's like a lot about sex, so a lot of times, when it comes to that hypersexuality, you either, was introduced to sex early, or whatever the case may be, is very significant about that. Last couple months ago, I was talking about Chris Brown, and how Chris Brown is very hypersexual, and Chris Brown lost his virginity, I think he said at like eight years old. So it's like, it's one of those things. And like I said, he felt like it was very, very cool to be, an 8-year-old that lost his virginity to a high schooler, or whatever the case may be. And he still kind of brags about that. It's like, oh, it made me the way I am now in regards to my sex life, and things of that nature. But, like I said, this is not, necessarily taught to us about, this is not, the way that we should be going in regards to those things. Okay. I experienced these things very accurate. That's crazy. I'm sorry you experienced that. So these are certain things to where, like I said, the mind protects them. And this is why I kind of made it, it made sense of why children don't necessarily act different, when they are going through this type of abuse. So pay attention to that. Okay. And like I said, we need to talk about, to the kids of, if anyone tries to tell you that, they're going to hurt your mommy, because they're doing inappropriate things, or whatever the case may be, don't protect me as your mom, because I need to protect you. Okay. There's things that people manipulate and groom these kids, to where they don't speak out about it, okay, until they start getting a little bit older, or some of them do speak out about it, and you don't believe them because you're so deprived of being with the man. And I could never think that man would do that, so you're over here, brushing your child away, when really you should be, addressing the situation with the man and getting that man up out of your house. So don't be so desperate to have a man at your home, and not protecting your children, okay. That's why a lot of times I don't like to do love messages over here, because that's not solely my purpose in regards to doing love messages all the time, because I know how the collective can be sometimes. And I'm not just talking about y'all, but I'm just saying in general, I'm a very big observer. So I observe the way the collective is when it comes to love, and some people are a little bit more desperate than others, and some people just genuinely just want love. I understand that, because I'm someone who actually wants it also as well. And sometimes you get to, want to hear about it. But, a lot of times, I've noticed that people going from relationship to relationship to relationship and things of that nature. And sometimes you just don't know because you wasn't taught. But a lot of times people like to close their ears, when it comes to that, in regards to just sitting alone and just being by yourself and just being single, or, focusing on yourself, focusing on your household, focusing on your kids, things of that nature. People like to close their ears when you're talking about that. And it's like, I don't want to hear about that. I want to know when that person coming in type of energy, and I'm not going to be that person to continue to feed the delusions, of when somebody's coming in, or whatever the case may be, because most of the time, some people don't even have nobody coming in besides a karmic. And a lot of these readers don't want to say that, but that's what it is. Okay. One of the things that I feel like with these, over time, the divine unions are very, very much true. And that's why a lot of times it does come out in the readings. But you know, sometimes we have to get into a space to where we're not only just talking about, you know, those love readings, because a lot of people like to feed into them and it's all they're worried about, you know, and it's like, that's why I don't like to always talk about it, because it's not something that we're always going to be worried about over here. Okay. Especially when it comes to, you know, I understand the way spirit works also as well. So, you know, sometimes when you get readings, you know, it's picking up on what the possibility, the current possible future could be. And then sometimes, you know, we all have that free will. So sometimes some things can intervene and happen. And then, you know, you got a reading back in, you know, 2 months ago that this person was going to be making their way towards you. And then this person decided that particular person decided to take a different pathway or a different direction. And it's like, well, where is that person at? Why ain't they coming? You know, or whatever the case may be. Well, this person decided to take a different direction, you know, whether it was a month later that you got your reading. You know, so it's just kind of one of those things to where, you know, yeah. Yeah. Free will. Okay. Free will. One thing I do is I hate talking about that predator shit, because it really truly gets to me, and it's hard for me to get out of the energy when I'm thinking about it. So we're going to try to clear this energy up, but it's hard for me to get out of the energy because I know so many children are going through these situations and it's just getting swept under the rug. I would, but right now, Spirit wants to keep it where I'm at right now. It'll clear in a second. I just need to take some time. I do need to go ahead and add the live special right now as I'm on live for the sugar scrubs. I'll go ahead and put them on sale right now. Sugar scrubs for $10.10. We got a masculine scent, and we got a feminine scent here. Okay, they're on sale for $10.10. I'll go ahead and add the code in here. It will be on sale for 2 hours while I'm on live. The spiritual bath will be on sale also as well. You'll use code LIVE in checkout. What's today's date? The 25th. What's the time? 9:26. So I'll put them on sale until 11 a.m. All right, so that's added. They are on sale right now until 11 a.m. Oh. 4 ounce. These are $8.88 right now on sale for the spiritual baths. Okay. The 10 ounce one is on sale also as well. I'm not going to dig for it right now. Yesterday I did just add these money openers, the block openers here. So you'll get a banish and protection one, and then you'll also get 2 of the money openers. These are really good. These are $7.77 on my site. Okay. Also, there's other products on there. We have the feminine kit bundle, and we also have the masculine kit bundle also as well. That is on my site. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the bio for my spiritual store. But yeah. All right, I think I was going to use my crystal ball, but I'm going to go ahead and get into the cards because my head is hurting a little bit. Spirit's telling me to split it up with the masculine message and the feminine message at this time. So I'll go ahead and split it up today. I'm picking up on the masculine is first, is what I'm picking up on. If anyone wants to get on the list for a personal reading, you can send in your payments. There is nobody on the list at this time. All right. Messages for the masculine at this time. Messages for the masculine. Gratitude, most divine angels, ancestors, spirit guides, my highest light. Bring forth truth and clarity at this time for the masculines. What are they needing to know? I'm hearing push forward. So, you know, some of you are needing to push forward at this time here, masculines, okay? Lean into your strength is what I'm picking up on. Yeah, that's doing a heavy cleanse right now. So much smoke in here. I might need to open a window. Yeah, let me open this window because my alarm gonna end up going off. Thank you for sharing the live. All right, let's see. What's going on with the masculines at this time? What do they need to know? But yeah, like I said, I was picking up on the energy of pushing forward. Okay, at this time, lead into your strength. Oh, I can't stand TikTok. I'm so over TikTok nowadays. I'm not gonna lie. You know what's just so stupid is you get violations for supporting your products for them to, you know, not buy it on TikTok Shop. I tried to set it up for TikTok Shop, but I messed it up because I was rushing it. So I'm just gonna, I gotta redo it. So I gotta close the shop online. Well, not online, but on TikTok Shop, I gotta close the shop and then I gotta reopen the shop. Like, oh my God, it was a lot. I can't stand technology. I'm just not really like a full-on technology person. I don't even really care to be one either. A lot of times I just am because of my business, but I don't care to be so into tech savvy. It's annoying, to be honest. So whenever I'm able to have somebody who can work all that for me, child, yeah. All right. So darkness here is what came out here, masculines. In regards to the energy of what you may be going through at this time. Okay, there could be, I'm seeing, like, I'm picking up on the energy of there's a light at the end of a tunnel is what I'm picking up on. That's why I said press forward. At this time, you could have been coming out of some very dark moments or dark times or things that kind of feel like they're a little bit darker. I also feel like this is an energy of tapping in with your shadow side, those versions of you that you don't want to necessarily show. Hold on just a second. But yeah, those things that you don't want to necessarily show at this time, in regards to, the versions of you, but this is an energy to where you're needing to tap into that. Okay. Why do you act that way? Okay. Type of energy, why do you express yourself the way you express yourself? Why don't you express yourself, also as well here. So it's like tapping in with your shadow. Okay. Doing that shadow work at this time so that you can bring more light to the darkness within you at this time. Okay. It's very significant. There's something here that needs to be shedded with this snake that I'm looking at here. There's something here that needs to be shed. And I feel like this is like an older version of you that needs to be shed at this time here, masculines. So that you can start embracing the new, okay, is what I'm picking up on. Stop holding on to that older version of yourself, because that older version of yourself wants to release. Your higher self has been meeting you, and it's like your higher self is ready for you to release that old version of yourself, but you're clinging on to that energy because it's comfortable, is what I'm picking up on. Because it's something that you've kind of always known. There is an energy to where I'm feeling a lot of this is very generational also as well, of what you are battling with. So you're battling with the energy from your father. You're battling with the energy from your grandfather, the men that have passed on this generational trauma over time. So you're battling with those things that your past or your loved ones over time, and the masculines in your family have battled with also as well. So it's like maybe you may be taking a step back to kind of look at how your family tree is been, acting out these particular things. And you're starting to see a little bit of yourself in those men also as well. And so Spirit is showing you those things because Spirit wants you to change those things. Spirit wants you to change the dynamic of that. Because unfortunately, some of you are carrying this baggage and this energy of that generational pattern and going to these same men or, possibility of these same men, and you was getting advisement from these men and they wasn't able to help you the way that you needed to be helped. They wasn't able to understand the direction that you were needing to go also as well, because you can't get help from somebody who is stuck in those same patterns that you're trying to break out of. Okay. Is what I'm picking up on. I'm picking up on the energy of metamorphosis also as well. Is significant here. Okay. You could be getting led to watch particular movies also as well. I'm picking up on movies. So you can be getting led to watch particular movies at this time. I'm also picking up on the energy of research. So there may be a need for you to actually tap into researching. One of the things that, when I didn't necessarily have an example of, what direction I should go, what type of things I should be watching also as well, I just started going to go look for it. So, some of you may need to get into the energy of researching, just kind of going to go look for it. More healthier podcasts or things that you can listen to within masculines, of, more positive energy. Okay. Of what they're talking about, of more healthier mental health also as well. So maybe you want to search on YouTube. I'm picking up on someone who may be kind of on YouTube, kind of searching those things also as well. But, this is just something that you are going to have to navigate, sometimes on your own when it comes to stepping outside the box, or when it comes to you not being, or you kind of trying to break out of that energy of being like your family is very significant at this time. And sometimes that can be hard when you're navigating that, okay? Because it's like, God damn, like I didn't have any resources, things things of that nature. I wasn't taught this, things of that, but it's like, do the research, do the, seek out is what I'm picking up on. Be vigilant, or be, what's it called? God damn, I'm losing my train of thought. Seek out is what I'm trying to say, okay, in regards to this, of the direction that you're wanting to go at this time, okay? What I feel like with this energy also as well is, I feel like this is something to where you're trying to rush your healing, also as well as what I'm picking up on. And I feel like that's kind of like what it was, what I'm picking up on, and why I was trying to rush that. It's like you're trying to rush a particular healing here, and they're like, there's no reason to rush it. Healing is a ongoing thing. It's, a lifetime thing. When it comes to healing, you always learn something new every day. You change, you evolve. Sometimes you're not always the same version of yourself. Sometimes you learn even more about yourself. Still to this day, I'm learning more about myself, and I can say that I am way more healed than I was, but I'm still learning more things about myself also as well. That comes with that self-awareness, asking yourself questions, being aware about things, because sometimes it's very deep down hidden, within you, like your subconscious or whatever case may be, of why you are the way you are, why things was shaped it the way they was shaped it for you within this lifetime. So what I'm saying is to allow yourself grace, okay, at this time, to just take one foot in front of the other, and continue to, be that version that you want to be at this time. Okay. So you don't have to present yourself as that perfectionism. I think perfectionism came out like 2 days ago, or yesterday in the collective with the masculine energy. You're trying to perfect something. I need to be this. I need to be that. I got to be a little bit more healed to deal with this person, whatever the case may be. Because some of you masculines are, you're at a point to where you have enough, is what I'm picking up on, to connect with your person. So when you end up connecting with your person, this is going to also up level you and take you up, in regards to that healing energy that you're needing. Okay. Because like I said, the feminine energy is nurturing energy. So it's like you're needing the nurturing, the divine feminine energy, within the society, within Mother Gaia, the energy of the divine mother is awakening. So when you're connecting with your divine feminine, and she has that divine mother energy that is flowing through her, you're also going to get those answers that you need from that feminine. And this is why also that is part of your guys' journey also as well, to surrender to the feminine energy, whether that's that feminine energy within yourself. And just surrendering to, taking away that patriarchy energy of a man has to know everything. A man has to be the complete leader. I don't want to listen to a woman because a woman don't know anything about, direction or whatever the case may be here. And that's the whole point in you surrendering in this time, because it's shifting, it's changing also as well here. That's a part of the test. To where you're releasing that older version, that ego, you're releasing that taught patterns to where women aren't, as equal, or women aren't as valuable in this society. And right now, we are shifting to where a lot of women are taking the reins. They're being shifted here to nurture the planet, shifting here to nurture the women, nurture the children, nurture the men at this time also as well. So, you got to kind of shed that ego and let that ego go and open yourself up to be more vulnerable. Okay. Is what I'm picking up on. Yeah. Healing, healing. Okay. And like I said, yeah, creation also as well. Divine feminine is the creation. Okay, divine feminine holds the creation. She holds the portal. She holds the baby. She holds the creation on her body. So it's like, this is something here that you have to, it's kind of like put some respect on mother. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. That's what I'm picking up on. Okay. Yeah, understanding. Okay, it's like there's a need to get this more of an understanding of your darkness. Okay, that fell right onto darkness here. So there's a need for you to get a more understanding of your darkness at this time. You know, like I said, those whys. Why do I do this? Why do I act, or why do I act this way? Why do I show up this way? Why do I procrastinate? You know, why? Okay. It's like, so it's like when you continue to ask yourself why, you know, ask yourself why again. Okay. Also as well, for it to continue to go deeper, in regards to the things that you know that you need to, you know, figure out within yourself. Okay. Yeah, hope also as well. Yeah, this Aquarius energy, the water barrier. Okay. So, you know, the water barrier is the one that pours, you know, also as well here. Pours the knowledge, pours, you know, the emotional intelligence energy also as well. Okay. So it's like, this is an energy to where you may need to embrace, like I said, that more vulnerable side of you, you know, to where you are, you know, tapping into that emotional intelligence also as well, is what I'm picking up on. I should have brought my juice in here, my fruit juice. What else here for the masculines? What else? What else? I was looking at this and it said, and this is like a, I don't know if this is like a cat or what, but I was just picking up on the energy of curiosity kills the cat energy. Okay. So this may be an energy to where you're starting to be a little bit more curious in regards to certain things that you have going on, or just kind of curious of your journey, of your pathway. You know, certain things are just kind of wanting to enlighten you is what I'm picking up on. Okay, perseverance also as well. Okay, so persevere at this time. All right, keep going is what I was picking up on. You know, even when it feels like it's not necessarily shifting for you, because what I'm picking up on with this energy is you go, okay, is what I'm picking up on. It's like you get to a point to where you start going, but it's like you eventually start to shifting back. And I feel like this is the energy because of the fact of you're not seeing the results the way you want to see the results. And like I said, you're going to continuously heal, is what I'm, you know, what I'm picking up on. Sometimes you're just not going to always see it fully. And sometimes you need somebody else to tell you that they see it on you. Also as well, you know, sometimes we don't be seeing things for ourselves. Sometimes we be like, oh yeah, you know, we downplay ourselves a lot of times. Oh yeah, you know, I'm doing a little bit of something, you know, and blah, 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 blah. But sometimes you may need someone who actually can see it, you know, who can speak that life into you. Like, damn, hey, like, you know, you've been doing good. I've been seeing you, you know, at least trying, you know, also as well, or at least trying to show up for yourself, you know. And I feel like this is an energy to where you don't have those people around you. To where those people that, you know, notice the shifts that you do, but and it's like when they notice the shifts that you do, it's there's a problem, there's an issue. It's like, oh, you just acting like you're too good now, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, instead of people appreciating that you are wanting to make that change, is what I'm picking up on. So this is why you're thinking kind of low of yourself, is what I'm picking up on. What else? This is why there's a need. This is why there's certain things, like I said, certain patterns or certain things that you gotta let go and shed. I feel like some of y'all have been in spaces to where you have been learning about people that are not meant for you. And this is why, Spirit, when you are shifting into your higher self, you're moving into a different vibration. This is why not everybody can come, because not everybody is going to be happy for that transformation. Not everybody is going to, yeah, you got to rely on your instincts right now at this time. Okay. But like I said, it's like not everybody's going to be happy about that. Not everybody is going to nourish, that version of you also as well. Some people want to taint it, to where it's like I said, you know, oh, you think you too good now. Oh, now all of a sudden you want to be a healer, or all of a sudden you want to be healed and everything of that nature. You know, oh, now you're being a little sissy or a little wuss or whatever the case may be, bro. You being too soft. You want to talk about emotions and shit. What happened to the old version of you? I want that person back. Whatever the case may be, you're around certain people that feed into the older self of you, that old self of you. And it's like, and so when you're in a space to where you're battling yourself, to where you are in a space to where you're kind of in that older version, but you're still kind of trying to embrace that new version of you, that comfortability is going to kind of pull you back. So that may be why you're kind of being pulled back sometimes, because for one, the people that you surround yourself with, for two, you're not even being as open and honest with yourself possibly, or even having that grace to where you're embracing that version of you of the direction that you're trying to go. So you're not going to always get it on the first try. Okay. This may be something to where you have been very, maybe you're somebody who is kind of like an all-around person to where you kind of usually always got it on the first try, but this is something to where you're stepping into complete new waters. This is not something that's just on the physical. This is way deeper than the physical. So you may have been someone who has been very superficial to where 3D wise, okay, say for instance, you had talents. Okay, you're very talented, and you can pick up a ball, a football, and throw it so far. Or you can you're really good at basketball, or maybe you was really strong, in the gym, or, things of that nature, to where it's like things just kind of come very easily to you with like your hands, could be very significant. But it's like when you're meant to tap into that more feminine side of you, that nurturing side of you, that point to where spirit's trying to move within your soul. It's like, yeah, like, shit, so it's kind of one of those things to where it's like, you just got to embrace that energy is what I'm picking up on. Like, you're not going to always get it on the first try. Okay. And sometimes, like I said, when you've had years and years and years and years and years, of being in that old version of yourself, when you try to be something new or try to step into something new, of course, the older version of you is going to want to fall back. Because at the end of the day, like I said, that's years on top of years, versus this little month here that you've been trying to, express yourself or be, a different version of yourself, versus the little 2 months or the little year, also as well. But it's like, we have to also keep going. Okay. Perseverance. We got to keep going. Okay. And like I said, it's not easy all the time. Especially, it brings up very painful, situations, moments, energy, that was dug down on the surface that you put away so many times, to where it's, when it comes up, it's like, it's overwhelming. Okay. Also as well. Okay. So it's like, yeah, it's overwhelming sometimes. Okay. But yeah, like I said, you're being enlightened. All right. So it's like you're going through this enlightened. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like, I feel like this is your little version of you, like the energy of what you learned in childhood, the patterns. Okay. There's a reason why I brought up childhood this morning. But it's like that childhood patterns, or whatever the case may be, the things that you was taught by the person that you was meant to trust to lead you on your quest, to lead you on your journey, to prepare you for your future. Okay. And this is why I spoke about childhood, because childhood also shapes us to the adults that we are. So it's like, so for instance, if we are mothers, at this time, or we are fathers at this time, and you're meant to have children, or you already have children, how are you setting up that pathway for this child? Because this child, you're the first teacher. You're the first teacher for your child. So how are you setting that up at this time? Are you repeating the patterns that your father taught you, that your grandfather taught you when they didn't know the healthier ways to live? Or are you trying to seek out energy to where you're trying to seek that healthier version of yourself so that you can teach that to the young ones that are coming after you at this time? Okay. Enlighten yourself. All right. This is the energy of being enlightened at this time, masculines. Okay. It's not just the feminines that are needing to nourish the children also as well. These are the masculines that need to nourish the children. We talk a lot about, us women talk a lot about, how horrible these men are, or whatever the case may be. A lot of these men haven't had a real true father in their life, or seen a real true masculine, move the way they're supposed to move. There's been some men to where I've seen some men that have very healthy men in their life. And I mean grandfather and their dad, type of energy. And they move completely different than men that didn't have a man in their life to show that. Or the men that had raggedy ass men in their life that was very raggedy. Okay. They move completely different. A lot of these men, you usually see them, they're providers, they're hands on, also as well. And they're very, very nourishing also as well to their children. And they also are very emotionally intelligent. They know how to express their emotions when they need to express themselves. So, that's very significant at this time. So like I said, it's like, it's a load to where, if you wasn't taught those things, if you wasn't in that environment, your environment shapes you. So it's like, what is it that your child's environment is in? in? Is it in a, you know, hostile environment? Are you guys always yelling and bickering at each other? You know, or is this more of a nourishing environment to where you guys express yourselves the way that you should be expressing yourselves also as well? Okay. You know, what is it that you're teaching your child? Okay, also as well. But yeah, like I said, you know, some of you masculines, you know, some of you may already have been, you know, those that have wanted to work with children, or you work with children already. You know, and this can be very significant because you may not know that subconsciously the reason why you decided to go that direction is because you didn't have that direction when you was a child. So it's like you want to show up for children, you know, in a manner, you know, and you may not have looked at it that way, but it's like you may just kind of gravitated towards it, you know, in a sense to where, you know, your heart is that way. Your soul led you that way for a reason. Because you as a child, okay, you may not even remember some of your childhood also as well, but you as a child needed that figure, you know, that figure that was speaking life into you, okay, also as well, kind of like that coach energy, you know, when you have a coach. You know, I remember, you know, when I was in basketball, and when I played basketball and I was hella good at basketball. I was a point guard. I was so good. I know it seems a little weird, you know, that I was good, but I was hella good. And so my, my coach, I fucked with my coach the long way, but he was very stern on me. So he put me on the B team, and I was so pissed off because I was like, he was like, I would have put you on the A team, but he was like, but you had this attitude, you know, this attitude that I cannot just, you know, deal with in a sense here. And I'm just like, you know, it was a whole thing, you know, in a sense here, but it's like, I ended up getting my attitude together. So it's like, you know, that was just kind of one of those things to where I ended up getting my attitude together because of the fact that I had my coach that, you know, spoke life into me. Okay. So it's like, you know, but yeah, so it's like, you know, they speak that life into you to wanting to do better, you know, things of that nature, you know, learning the things that you learned, you know, when you was, you know, going through the things that you went through or whatever the case may be is significant here. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people never thought. I played volleyball, I played softball. I was hella good at softball. Like softball and basketball was like the best like sports I was good in, but softball was my jam. Like I was a pitcher. I was hella good at pitching, and I was really good at batting also as well. I actually led my team to get first place. I made the winning touch, or not touchdown, but whatever it's called. I knocked it out the park, baby. I'm telling you. But yeah, I used to be hella good. And then I got to high school and I was kind of scared. You know, I was like, oh, I don't know. You know, I was shy though, also as well. I was pretty shy in even, you know, all around. But yeah, some days I still miss playing softball. But yeah, I can't breathe. But yeah, so vanity also as well here. Okay, so pride and ego here, masculines. It's like there's a need for you to let go of pride and ego. You know, like I said, that structure of kind of always being, you know, it's me, like I gotta be the one to do this or whatever the case may be. And it's like whole time that's kind of tearing you up, okay? Because it's like I said, you know, some of y'all hold on to this energy of feeling like you need to know it all, and you don't always know it all. And it's like, if I don't know it all, then I look like I'm less of a man. No, you don't. Okay, we don't always know everything. You know, just even with myself, it's like, okay, if I say I don't think I know it all, you know, if I don't feel like I know it all, if I don't know how to answer the question, I don't look like I'm a good spiritual coach. And I had you know, that's things where you got to let that go also as well. You know, in regards to being some sort of coach or being a leader or whatever the case may be, you can't always have the answer. That's why a lot of times if there's questions that are asked, I'm like, hey, I don't know, but I'll try to, you know, talk to my spirit team. I'll research it, whatever the case may be. I'll let you know if I find out, you know, type of energy. You know, but someone who is more prideful in their ego, you know, feel like they need to always have that answer so that they don't appear wrong. You know, that's just kind of not someone who is in a healthier version of themselves, of being someone who is of guidance or a leader. Okay, you got to be able to forgive yourself. Yeah, and acceptance. You got to accept the fact that you're not always going to have it. You're not always going to have it. You're not always going to be the best person. Like, that was another thing in regards to me speaking about having to be on the B team because of the fact of my attitude, and it's like that right there brought shame to me as in school, to where I'm like, oh, I'm on the B team, I'm saying, things of that nature, when I should have been on the A team, because everybody would talk about that. So it's like that brought a lot of shame to me, and I still kind of hold that shame to where it's like, I don't even want to let nobody know about that. But the thing is, I know my talent. I know what I was good in. I know that I was meant to be on the A team, but he told me I had to sit it out because of my attitude. And I remember my attitude. So it's like, so at the end of the day, we can't allow certain shame or people to shame us or make us feel some type of way, about ourselves because of the fact of not always having it together. Okay. So this is something to where that forgiveness, and here we are again with the little kid, to where you got to forgive certain things. Maybe this is an energy to where, you was more of a softer child as a kid. Maybe you was a softer child as a kid. You could have been a firstborn also as well. First male born in your childhood, or in your family. Here. And it's like, a lot of times us, firstborns, we take on a lot, because, we're the firstborns. We take on, I believe it's like some sort of DNA also as well, scientifically proven that we take on more of, I can't remember the patterns or something. I can't remember. But there's something significant about that. Okay. To where, like I said, maybe this was something to where, so for instance, there was something here, my dad wasn't in my brother's childhood. And so, they don't really talk anymore. I don't talk to my dad right now either. But one thing that happened that my brother had called me and told me about was, he was like, when I was on the cruise with dad, he was telling me how, I was a little bit too soft and, things of that nature because of, how I expressed myself and emotions, And one thing that my dad has a problem with is expressing himself. He's very stuck in his ways, very kind of, he's stuck in his ways, very selfish. He's narcissistic also as well. So he doesn't express himself that way. But what's crazy is he was that way with me. So it's like, so he was pressing on to my brother to not be that way, but he was very emotionally, available with me, which was, very different also as well. But like I said, so this could be, with you masculines, is you dealt with a father here that when you was wanting to express yourself, as a kid, like I said, oh, boys don't cry. We would like to tell these little young boys don't cry, boys aren't supposed to cry, you're not supposed to be hurt, you got to be strong, but that kid's a kid. It's a kid. So it's like, we can't continue to suppress a child from crying because the child is a child, also as well. And then it helps that, or what it does is it molds that boy, to be a man, to where that man is not vulnerable, to where that man is dismissing emotions and feelings when they get older. So you wonder why we have men that are not emotionally intelligent, men that are, women are so emotional, or whatever the case may be, they just need to let go of their emotions, and men who don't seem like they're connected with themselves, when it comes to their emotions and feelings, or even expressing themselves, because of this, because what happened in childhood. This is a lot of childhood energy. There's 3 cards out here that's literally children. Okay. So it's like, this is an energy to where it's molded you and shaped you into the person that you are now because of the person that led you, whether that is your mom, the father, whoever it was that was your guardian, that took on knowledge from people that, didn't know what to do either because it wasn't healthy, also as well here. When I went to therapy, and I went ahead and let my family know about me going to therapy because I was in an abusive relationship, and I needed that therapy also as well because I was like, there's something here that I just am getting guided to go to therapy, even to my grandparents that was, all involved in the church, they're like, oh, you don't need therapy. All you need is Jesus, and things of that nature. Or, telling my other grandma, and she was out of church, and it's like, oh, you don't need no therapy. What you need therapy for? You're out of the relationship. Or therapies for white people, also as well, type of shit, so it's like, it's just kind of one of those things. I'm like, no, y'all actually should go to therapy. You actually need therapy. Okay. Like you need to go to therapy. Okay. You need to actually go tap in with yourself and see what's going on with that. because a lot of people don't want to, oh, well, I'm okay, I'm good, whatever the case may be. You're okay because you suppressed it so much into where you don't even think about what you're going through. You don't sit with yourself. You keep on going. You keep on moving. So at the end of the day, it's showing up in your body. And that's why certain people pass away from heart attacks or pass away from heart failure or things of that nature, because that energy is sitting in their heart space and they haven't opened themselves up in regards to their hearts. Okay. Whatever is done spiritually is manifested on the physical. So the things that are going on in your body is a lot of times is very spiritual in the first place anyways, most of the time. Okay. What other messages here for the masculine? I'm gonna go ahead and close this up though for the masculines. Yeah, healing energy and perception. All right, balance. All right, the duality of the two. As above, so below, so within, so without. So like I said, a lot of healing energy here. All right, we got 2 healing cards out here. Okay, healing already came out. So heavy on the healing. Heavy on healing your darkness here. That's that dark energy and your light energy. Okay, bringing the light into the darkness. What is your shadow? Also as well here, what was you taught? Type of energy. What is your toxic traits? How can you get out of the toxic traits? How can you nourish the toxic traits? To where you step in more into your light energy. Okay. Some of you masculines are light workers. You're meant to be light workers. So you may have always kind of worked jobs that have been helping people, or you naturally have people that want to, that you help also as well. Or you always want to be this helper, a provider, or, spreading love to certain people that may not have the best of what they have, type of energy also as well. Or people love to come to you for advisements also as well here. Maybe you've been a coach, could be significant also as well here. Maybe you've been what's it called, a counselor also as well, could be significant, or just a counselor in general, to where people come to you, like I said, to get advice. People always telling you their stories, or just randomly telling you, yeah, I just been going through this and da 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 blah blah blah. It's like now all of a sudden you got somebody you don't even know that's telling you their whole life story. Okay, that's healing energy. You're a healer. Okay, you just don't see it. Okay, is what I'm picking up on. People feel comfortable in your presence also as well here. Okay. It's like, I don't know. It's just something just feels so comfortable of me telling you my secrets, also as well. You just feel like you're somebody who I can talk to and things of that nature. Okay. That's a healer. All right. That's a healer. So yeah. So this burden here, you need to go ahead and put it to death here. Okay. With this death card and the burden, it's like whatever these things that are burdening you. And I feel like the burden is you needing to forgive yourself, okay? In regards to the things that you have been taught, that have learned over time. The burden also as well is carrying things that you're not meant to carry. The burden also as well here is putting more pressure on yourself than what you're needing to do at this time, and not having grace for yourself. The burden also as well is perfectionism, is what I'm picking up on also as well. It's like there's just a need to come to acceptance. Yeah, with your growth. Okay, the burden is you continuously to stay complacent, to stay in a position in places that you're not meant to stay, and you know that your body is wanting to expand. Your mind is wanting to expand. Your soul is wanting to expand. It's kind of like your body is like reaching out of your own body here, and it's like trying to go further, but it's like you keep on holding back of it because you're so comfortable here. Okay, so it's like this is kind of the energy to where you just needed to accept it and embrace the growth here, regardless of what comes with it. Okay, is what I'm picking up on. Regardless if you're losing people in this season, losing people that was always comfortable, that don't understand you also as well. What's understood, I don't remember what the saying is, but what needs to be understood don't have to be understood. I don't know. Y'all know what the saying is, okay? But that's the energy is what I'm picking up on. Not everybody has to understand your journey. Maybe you don't even have to understand your journey either. You just got to keep on going and keep walking, also as well here. Okay. Because, that's one thing for sure with me, I was like, I don't know what therapy was going to, do for me, things of that nature. I was like, but I'm going to try it, also type shit. And that was one of the best turning points of my life. Like literally the best turning points of my life is going to therapy. I learned a lot from one of my therapists. I learned a lot. I tapped in with myself more. I was able to navigate more in regards to what kind of my childhood, shaped me as. I was able to, explore myself more, of the questions that I kind of already had circulating in my head, also as well. I was able to have tools also as well. My therapist helped me with tools of navigating things that I just didn't know how to navigate also as well. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. Yes, thank you. Okay. What's understood does not have to be explained. All right. So it's like, maybe you're in a space to where it's like certain people want to have questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why you got to act this way? Da, 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 da. Why you got to keep us out of the loop? Why can't you tell us? Blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to understand anyways, And it's like if I would have allowed my family to, my family's what's it called, opinions to shape me at that time, and I'm like, you know what, I don't need therapy, I wouldn't be at the place that I am now. Okay, because that was set up for a reason. I got that download for a reason. Spirit brought that to me for a reason, because I needed to do my shadow work to be here now, to be the leader that I am right now. Okay, to helping people of discovering themselves. The thing is I was open. So the teacher is always going to show up, when the student is ready. And, or, you're partially ready, because sometimes we think that we're not ready when we're actually really ready, because sometimes I don't think I'm ready, but, sometimes, most of the time you're ready. You just are too scared, you're ready, or you just don't want to really sit in it, type of energy also as well. So, say for instance, you got that time to where, like I said, there's a lot of you that have been, watching me over time, and, you've been ready to open yourself up to shifting, the changing, and maybe it's taken some time, because it's going to take some time. It took me some time when I was, navigating the new waters also as well in regards to healing. It took some time for me also as well. Like I said, it still is. Okay. All right, last messages here for the masculine. Did I say 11 a.m. or 11? I think I said 11. Yeah. You got an hour left for the sale for the sugar scrubs, on sale for $10.10. They are originally $18.18. As well as the spiritual baths are on sale. You got to use code LIVE. The link tree is in my bio. We do have the masculine scent here for the sugar scrubs, and we also have the feminine scent for the sugar scrubs. All right, so those are available on my link tree. All right, last messages for the masculine. Safety and acceptance. I knew this acceptance card was going to come out. All right. Safety and acceptance. I feel like this is the energy to, once you accept yourself, once you accept the direction that you're going, you'll feel more safer within you. Okay, is what I'm picking up on. A lot of times we don't feel safe within ourselves because we don't even accept ourselves. It's like, I don't trust my own intuition. I don't trust myself of the decisions that I'm going to make possibly in the future because of the decisions that I made in the past. And that's because you didn't feel safe in regards to trusting yourself. So you got to come into the point to where you accept yourself as a whole, your flaws and everything. Like I said, that perfection, that pride, that ego is going to, is going to put you in a space to where you don't make certain moves because of the fact of you don't want to tamper your own ego. You don't want to make the wrong decision. You don't want to make the wrong choice. You got to release that burden. That's a burden. That's something I had to let go of myself in regards to releasing that burden of, I'm not always going to have the answers. I'm sometimes going to make mistakes. I'm going to go possibly to a different direction that I may have thought that my intuition was leading me, but I probably was just overthinking, also as well. I had to let that go. I can't change that. Sometimes we like to try to get in front of it, also as well, to where we get to, try to get in front of it, overthink or whatever the case may be, or try to overly plan and things of that nature. Things are going to happen the way they happen regardless. You got to just kind of let that energy go. Okay. Like, like I said, in regards to certain relationships also as well, I'm like, okay, what if I get into a space, that's one of my fears in regards to a relationship now. I'm like, okay, I done went through an 8-year cycle of abuse. I done went through another 8-year cycle of abuse after that relationship also as well. I dealt with a physical abuse situation, mentally, emotionally, abusive situation. Then I hopped into one that was mentally abusive, emotionally abusive, and narcissistic. Of that relationship for 8 years. And I'm like, damn, so if I hop into another relationship, I'm like, even though I'm aware, even though I healed most of that, I'm like, what if I kind of miss the step, or what if I miss the red flag, also as well. It scares me. So I'm like, damn, like I don't know what's going to happen. But it's like, I took all that knowledge and I was like, you know what? Even if I make that step to somebody who may show off those signs, I know that I'm going to leave earlier than what I did from when I was with these other relationships. I stuck around in those other relationships because I kept questioning myself of leaving. But I know now that I'm not going to question myself of leaving, because I know what peace is. I know what acceptance is. I know what safety is also as well within myself. I created safety for myself. Some of us have to create that safe space for ourselves. And that's what I'm saying in regards to sitting with yourself, in regards to your emotions and connecting with you. Because like I said, some of us have been in spaces to where we have opened ourselves, been vulnerable with certain people, and those people did not create a safe space for us to open ourselves and be vulnerable. A lot of you men, once you open up to one person and that person hurts your feelings, that woman hurts your feelings, and it's like now all of a sudden, nope, I'm not open up anymore. I'm too hurt. I'm so painful. I went through heartbreak already. That was one of the things that I didn't want to go through, because I was like, I experienced heartbreak one time and I was like, oh my God, no, never again. I'll never experience another heartbreak. I don't ever want to be, I'll have to set myself up before I even hit another heartbreak type of energy. I can't control that. Okay. So it's like, that's just kind of one of the things that you can't control, the things that you run into. Okay. Sometimes you just got to walk into that and see, what comes out of it. And if heartbreak hurts, now you have the tools. I have the tools to where I can sit with myself now, because there was a point in time to where I wasn't able to sit with myself. There's a point in time where I was codependent. There's a point in time to where I didn't want to be alone. And I chose a abusive relationship over being alone because I was scared to be by myself. Okay. So it's like, you have to be able to create that safety within yourself instead of looking for safety for somebody else. Okay. Be safe with yourself. Accept yourself at this time. Okay. Sit with yourself when you need to sit with yourself. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Open yourself up to your things that you're needing at this time. Okay. Nurture. I can't make it up. Nurture here. It says here, nurture others and also yourself. Okay. A lot of times we like to be in a space to where we nurturing everybody else but us. So it's like we there for everybody else. I want to hold your hand. I want to be that ears for you to listen, for the problems that you going on. I want to problem solve all the time. I want to tell you it's going to be okay. I want to give you all these solutions, problem solve solutions, things of that nature. And the whole time you over there stressed out yourself, because you don't know how to take care of yourself first and then take care of everybody else. Okay, you're jumping to take care of everybody else because you get to ignore yourself because it feels good. It feels good to, take care of everybody else because it's like, yes, I solved a problem for somebody else. It feels so good. I had to learn this on my own, to where it's like sometimes as a healer, we will overextend ourselves for other people because it feels good. It makes us feel good inside to make other people feel good, to help people up with their problems. But it's like we be wanting to not sit with ourselves because oh, that's just too much. Oh, it's just too much. I don't have the answer for myself, and I'll overthink the answer for myself, or whatever the case may be, or you're looking for somebody else to come bring you that answer. And it's like, and that's the whole point, to where you're the one that's supposed to be helping yourself heal also as well, and nurturing yourself. Okay. I honestly feel like that was also part of a message for the feminine. So I'm not going to do too much for the feminines right now. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of us feminines have been in masculine energy. So that could be another reason why that is resonating at this time, is because we've been in so much masculine energy to where it's, it goes hand in hand. Okay. So I feel like I'm going to do a little bit for the feminines, but part of that message was also here for the feminines at this time. All right. But what I'm picking up on with this energy in regards to the feminines is being more softer. All right, being more softer, allowing yourself to be more softer and being more softer for yourself. Okay. There was actually an energy that I was going to speak on yesterday. Buy yourself some lingerie. It's like kind of stepping into that sexy energy is what I'm picking up on. Buy yourself some lingerie for yourself. If you're having problems with your self-image or whatever the case may be here, you're, a little bit insecure, that acceptance is key right now in regards to accepting yourself to where your body is now. Okay. Accepting yourself in regards to where your hair is now, accepting yourself to where your skin is right now. And then just taking time to put in the work. Okay. And allowing the time to transform also as well here is what I'm picking up on. Things take time. I didn't always have clear skin. I wasn't always in a space to where I was, my hair was thriving. My hair was very broken. My hair was very broken off at one point in time, because child, that's a whole nother segment in regards to us black women, and having to deal with certain situations from childhood and our hair and perms and not having the proper maintenance, the proper care to care for our hairs. Some of our moms was too much in survival mode to where they didn't want to take care of our hairs, to where we had to take care of our own. I had to take care of my own hair. I had to do everything and learn everything by myself. A lot of times my mom didn't teach me nothing. And that's just the truth. I love her, but it's like at the same time, she just didn't really teach me the things that I needed to know as a woman. And that's one of the things of why I nurture so much in regards to my niece, because I'm like, I needed that and she doesn't really have it as much either. So I'm like, so I'm going to make sure I'm that person that is there for her to tell her everything. I felt like my mom, I had one point in time with my, when I went to therapy, and I was going through that abusive situation in high school, and my mom wasn't aware of it because my mom wasn't necessarily, she felt like, oh, y'all grown enough. So it's like, she's like, y'all grown enough. So, take care of yourself type of energy when I got into high school. So high school, I was, in that abusive relationship. And my mom didn't know about it, per se. But to me, I felt like she knew something, because it's like I would cry in the middle of the night. I would leave my house because of the situation that I was in, and it's like, I'm like, you heard me leaving in the middle of the night, type of stuff, but it's like she went through the same. So I'm like, you know what it's like to be in those abusive relationships, and I just feel like she kind of hides it, but it is what it is. I had to come into acceptance of, my mom's going to be the way she is, and that's just kind of what it is. But she slowly is maneuvering, the way that she kind of needs to, in a sense. But what I had to notice is my mom has a mother wound also. She didn't have a close relationship with her mom. She was a daddy's girl. Her dad had passed away when she was, 20, also as well. So, and she was, stressing out in regards to that, of trying to make things meet for us as, a single mom and dealing with abusive, partners. So, there's a portion of me that understands what my mom went through, but also at the same time, I'm just kind of like, you gotta have been able to have did something, but that's just how I see it. That's just how I see it. So it's just kind of what it is. But yeah. So, like I said, some of you women, you struggling with your self-appearance and things of that nature, kind of tap in with yourself with that self-love. Like I said, go get you some lingerie, all right? Go walk around in lingerie, stare at yourself in the mirror, whatever the case may be. Also, you need to twerk that ass, all right? You need to twerk that ass, work that ass, all right? Get that energy out of your hips, okay? That stagnant energy. Us women, and just in general, we hold trauma in our hip areas. Our hip areas is kind of connected to our sacral, our womb. So, we're carrying on that passed on trauma from when our mothers went through labor, or, how they was pregnant and was dealing with abusive relationships, or, they was possibly molested, also as well. So we're carrying that energy also as well in our womb space. So, there's a need for you to to cleanse that energy out, help your sacral chakra, your womb space also as well. I know I've been saying I was going to talk about the womb in February, child. I got everything together. And look, okay, Spirit had me doing my products and things of that nature. So your girl been busy. I'm just a one person, all right now. So and then on top of that, I was tired. All right, I was tired. Burden. Okay, exactly, like burdens. Like a lot of us women are carrying burdens of, you know, wanting to be in that soft space, wanting to kind of embrace that softer version of us, you know, but it's like we feel like we got to take care of everything, you know, because a lot of these men aren't stepping up to the plate. They're not, you know, that's just kind of the truth of the matter of it is, you know, but this is the point to where you're helping yourself get more, you know, ready for that softness within yourself. That's where you're being more organized. Okay, we have to be more organized in regards to the things that we have going on within our household. You know, you got to learn, you know, more things also as well, and venture out certain things so that we can learn things to make things our life more easier also as well, especially for those that are single moms. Okay, you got to be more organized. You got to get things, you know, together so that you can have a routine or a schedule, you know, to make things easier. Sometimes what I've noticed with women a lot of times is we're looking for a savior. We're looking for someone to come save us. Oh, I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. She's just a girl. She doesn't know how to cook and blah, blah, blah. No, you're a grown ass woman. Okay. I hate when people say that. It gets on my nerves. Like, I get it. But at the same time, I hate when people say the most simplest things. And it's like, oh, she's just a girl. Like, no, we are grown ass women and we can still also take care of ourselves. We are very resilient. Okay. Women are the strongest species. Okay. We're very strong. Okay. The things that we got to go through within periods, laboring, you know, PMSing, you know, hormones, all that type of shit. We're very fucking strong. And it's like, we just got to kind of lean into it and also be able to embrace ourselves softly also as well. Okay. So yeah, so like I said, making things a little bit more easier for yourself at this time, you know, getting more organized. One of the things that's helped me is being organized. If I don't have, you know, what is it? A planner, a calendar, you know, a goal or whatever the case may be to keep me structured and aligned, you know, I'm all over the place. Okay. Like ADHD, you know, things of that nature, overthinking, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm all over the place. But when I'm structured and I have my planner, you know, I write my things out, I get things, you know, I look at my calendar. Okay. What do I have to do today? Okay. I got a client. Okay. You know, I want to work on some of my spiritual baths or whatever the case may be. But if I wake up every day and I just kind of go with the flow and just do whatever I want to do, like I have certain days to where I do that, you know, but some days you need to be a little bit more structured also as well. Okay. And that's why I also just be like, sometimes I'll be like, some people will be much more easier, have much more a easier day if you had a routine for your children. You know, a bedtime schedule or some sort of scheduling, or, you know, you're in a space to where you are meal prepping also as well for your kids. You get those things, you know, organized. I done seen that on my TikTok, you know, to where I will see very organized moms. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I need. That's how I want to be when I have a child, because I don't want it to be stressful. Okay. I don't want to, there's times where things are going to be stressful with having kids, but it's like, if we can make things less stressful with our own, then it's going to be much more easier. We just got to seek things. We got to look out there, you know, we got to go find it, you know, also as well. Yeah, I can't make it up. Teaching. Okay. It's like we gotta figure it out. We gotta get to the root of the problem, you know, instead of putting little band-aids on it, you know. Oh, this will work for a little bit, you know, type of energy. Oh, you know, we'll just band-aid it for a little bit, you know, it's gonna work. No, because it needs to be healed. Okay, it needs to be healed from the root here. So a lot of times, like I said, you know, a lot of women are looking for someone to come save you, and you keep on running into men that are not being able to save you. You know, you run into men that you're thinking that you're finding a provider, and this man don't help you out around the house. He don't help you with the kids, and you in a whole relationship to where you're still in your masculine energy. You're still in your masculine energy as a woman here, and he ain't even made any type of sense of softness for you to have. Okay. You're better off on your own being a single mom, because a lot of people are in relationships and marriages and they're still a single mom. That's the truth. Yeah. Reunion of souls here and retreat. All right. Like I said, it's like this is an energy to where you have to get yourself together in order to reunite with someone who is meant to meet you on a soul level. All right. So that point in retreating, you see how this person's by themselves and it says retreat here. This person's by themselves. They got to learn themselves first. You got to step into yourself right now and, for yourself and embody that self-love energy before you can actually venture off into being with somebody here who's going to meet you to where you need to, your met expectations, because some of us don't even have expectations. It's like, oh, you say you're a man. All right, cool. I'm saying, that's my expectation, type of energy, and it's like the whole time you run into the wrong people because you're not using your discernment, because you haven't tapped in with yourself more, because you're being deprived of love. And the whole time is you're supposed to be refilling yourself up. A lot of times I've noticed with women also as well is we will push our insecurities onto men, and I've been there before. I've done it before. We will push our insecurities onto men and expect for that man to feel that space for us, feel that insecurity with us, and things of that nature, to where we will continue to do it, to where now I expect you to fill me up in a sense here. And it's like, no, you need to fill yourself up. That's why I said that there's a need for you to love on yourself first. Okay. Like I said, a lot of insecurities can get coming out also as well, dealing with men sometimes. A lot of insecurities can come. Oh, you looked at that girl the wrong way, or you looking at that girl or that girl on social media, or you like to look at them BBL girls and, blah, 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 blah. It's like if you start to get more comfortable with yourself, you wouldn't even have to worry about that. Okay. You wouldn't even have to worry about that. Yeah, me too. But I know better now, shoot. And it's not to say that sometimes it may come up also as well. I get a little territorial. Sometimes it'll come up again. But it's like I know how to check myself now. So, and at the end of the day, we all got insecurities. Okay, no matter how people like to present themselves, no matter how you may see this perfection within yourself, we all got insecurities. I got insecurities. So, it is what it is. Past, present, and future slow down, but steady in sexual energy also as well. So there's a need to slow down, okay? But have that steady pace here. A lot of people like to slow down all the way, and it's like completely slow down, and it's like Spirit's like, I told you to slow down, but not to where it's like, child, you're barely moving. Okay, but it's like this is an energy to where it's like slow down, but also have a steady pace here. Okay, because when you slow down a little bit and you have that steady pace, you can either overthink your situations and decisions, or you have that steadiness to where you slow down and you're still receiving from Spirit. Is what I'm picking up on. Past, present, and future at this time is very significant. So certain things that are, coming up from your past could be significant. The things that you're needing to sit with in the present moment. Some of you just need to sit in your present moment on what you got going on right now. Okay. So I feel like this is the energy to where, like I said, don't try to get ahead of yourself all the time. Planning all the time for the future, or looking ahead of, I need a person, I need a man, I need this, or whatever the case may be. When's my person coming? Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you just need to be present. Sometimes you just need to be into a space to where you embrace what's going on right now. Okay. Embrace the singleness. Maybe you've never been single before. I'm gonna raise my hand for that, okay? Because there's been a time to where when I tell you I've been, let's see, 3 years and some change, about 3 months, 3 years, 3 months actually, 4 months, no, 3 years, 3 months. 3 years, 3 months, I have been celibate, okay, or abstinence from sex, okay, and I've been single also as well. I've never been in a space to where since high school I have been single, okay. I've never been in a space to where since high school I have stopped fucking, okay. And so my first couple of months also as well, when I started abstaining from sex, okay, sexual energy is here. This is important. I'm like, man, I'm, what you mean? I gotta go, I'm 3 months in, and I ain't had sex, type of energy. And I've been having sex since I was in high school. I'm like, this is new for me, type of energy. I'm like, I'm trying to fuck. All right. And then it's like 4 months go by, and I'm like, damn, I still ain't had sex. I'm still not in a relationship, things of that nature. I'm still single. I'm thinking that I'm about to get up out there and date again and things of that nature. 5 months go by, 7 months go by. I get to a year, I'm like, I've been a year single. Like I've been a year abstinence from sex. I ain't fucked in a year. I'm like, well, hopefully I don't make it to 2 years. Then spirit got me making it to 2 years. I was like, wow. And then I'm like, well, I better not go no 3 years. And here I am 3 years. Okay. So it's like, it's kind of one of those things to where spirit wants you to slow down and enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, because it's like when I look back at it and I think about it, I'm like, these 3 years don't even feel like 3 years, to be honest. It really don't. It honestly feels like a year, the way time is going by so fucking fast. And then not only that, I have my times to where I be hella pissed off. I can't listen to certain music because it make me want to, do. Sometimes I can't even drink a little bit of wine or drink a little bit of drink because I get to get a little bit freaky also as well. And I'm like, I ain't got nobody to go home to. Like, that should be pissing me off. I be getting so mad. But I came to a point to where it's like, I'd rather be by myself, than to be dealing with no raggedy ass man, or to be giving myself away to a man who's not going to treat me right, or accept me for, who I am, or whatever the case may be. I'm waiting on that actual true person so I can be freaky with that man. Okay. And also so that I can, just be who I am and be, safe. Okay, that's something that I am like 100% big on now, because I made so much peace within me. Because I got out of a situation that was not peaceful, where my head was going, 1,000 miles per hour, being stressed out about where this man is at 4 o'clock in the morning, not showing up until 8 a.m., things of that nature, so it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, I go to bed peacefully at night, and I'd be damned if I'd be dealing with another man that's on that type of time. So, I'm just like, I'm good, it is what it is. Over time, you start to come into acceptance of, I'm single, or acceptance of I'm abstaining from sex also as well, and I'm not giving out, my body, into to someone who doesn't deserve it, type of energy. And then not only that, it's cleansing, it's healing also as well. You begin to heal, you begin to understand more things about yourself. There's a lot of things that I understood more about myself now with being single, because I wasn't so much focused on that man, because when we get in relationships as women, we be focused on what that man doing, who he calling, who he texting, where he going, and then it's like, even if he's showing up a little bit trustworthy, I'm still fucking fucked up over my past, type of energy. I got trust issues. So it's like, or I'm insecure, also as well here. So it's like, it's one of those things to where just embrace the space of you being alone right now, because I promise you, if you are meant to have a lover, if you're meant to be loved, the spirit is not going to allow you to be loving on everybody else and have that pure heart and that pure soul, and not think that spirit's not going to bring you your person. So, you got to really think that and change your mindset in regards to that, and just embrace the journey at this time. Okay. Let me get a goddess card, and I'm gonna close y'all out because my phone about to die. Not only that, you'll attract a more, I'm getting hot too. Not only that, you will attract the type of man that you want. When you set those boundaries up, when you have those standards, when you know that you won't go below, of things that you accepted at one point in time, when you know that you're in a space to where you don't want to just be so desperate in regards to having somebody to love. Okay. Also as well, you gotta kind of check yourself. Because then you get to accepting anything, or just get to accepting certain things, because it's like, oh, I'm just tired of being single, so I'm just going to accept this relationship. And then whole time, ran into somebody who's not even for you. You're not meant to be with that person. And spirit will break it up, spirit will allow those things to happen, to where it's like, oh, okay, yep, she thinks that she's ready, but she's not. Yep, it's just going to be another failed relationship. This is not her spouse type of energy. And then here we are settling, okay, settling for less. All right, messages for the feminine. I can't make it up. Worthiness, okay? worthiness here. It's like you got to know your worth. All right, you got to know your value. You got to value yourself. Men love when a woman doesn't value themselves. They love it because they're easy access. It's like, oh yeah, that bitch will throw it. She'll throw it for anybody. She's gonna throw it in a circle, just it out there giving it out. Okay, type of energy. It's like, oh yeah, she don't know her worth. Okay, type of energy. I can walk all over her. She can stick around. I can treat her the certain way that she can be treated. I can cuss her out. I can, whatever the case may be abusive, mentally, emotionally, physically, play with her mind, play these mind games, or whatever the case may be. All I gotta do is argue with her for a little bit, and then we're good, type of energy. She don't know her worth. She don't know her value. I can walk all over her, type of energy. A man knows because men are natural predators. They naturally prey, so it's like, so they, most of the time, we so all up in la la land and fantasy land. Oh, I just know we're gonna have a kid, and I just know we're gonna be together, and I love him already, like, and it's like the whole time this man trying to figure out, yeah, I can probably do this. I'm trying to smash, and probably I can probably hold off a little month here, whatever the case may be. And this man ain't even thinking about longevity, type of shit. So it's like, we got to really kind of get out of that energy to where we are more focused instead of a man, being all up in that la la land. Okay. Cause trust, I could be there too. Okay. But yeah, desire. All right. Here also as well here. I feel like this is the energy to where it's like worthiness and desire. I feel like this is the energy to where it's like desire yourself. Okay, like desire yourself at this time. When you come into an energy, this is what I was going to talk about yesterday also as well, because there's been a lot of love spell energy going out there. A lot of people wanting to do love spell, love magic. How do I make a man obsessed with me and things of that nature? You want to know how you can make a man obsessed with you? Being in your feminine energy naturally, so it's like, if you got to do a little bit of magic to make that man obsessed with you, you got to keep doing that magic for that man to be obsessed with you. Or you're going to attract the wrong type of man to be obsessed with you, type of energy. But when you step into that feminine energy, I was just talking about this yesterday, to where you can't be masculine because that masculine is not attracted to masculine women, okay? And it's going to be headbutting all the time. But when you're a feminine here and you start stepping into your feminine energy and you start moving with that worthiness and that worth, and you ain't about to settle for less type of energy, you ain't got to be so rah about it. I'm not settling for less. I'm not about to be fuck with you niggas. Like, you don't have to be like that. It's just, that's just not my cup of tea, baby. I'm not about to be dealing with that. That's just, I've been there, done that. It's just not, I moved out of that energy. I graduated. Okay. It's just one of those things to where you will start attracting a man who loves a feminine woman. Okay. All men love feminine women. That's just the point of the matter. They love a good feminine woman. Okay, so you gotta step into that feminine energy. All right, and that is what's going to attract. Okay, that's what's going to really kind of start alluring that right man for you, is when you step into that feminine energy and embrace yourself and your worth and your power. All right, they see that as sexy. The real man. What solves nothing? Celestial alignment. All right, celestial alignment here. It's like you're connecting with divine source. Yeah, arguing with someone. Yeah, it doesn't. I didn't say that. Arguing with someone is not going to, that's what I said. I said women being in a space to where you're clashing with a man, it's not going to work. It's just not. Masculine and masculine energy is not going to work. That's why I'm saying that they need to step into their feminine energy to where you're not dealing with that, to where you're in your worthiness and your power as a feminine woman. Okay. But yeah, like I said, celestial alignment here. All right. So you coexisting, co-creating with divine mother. Divine mother is working through you. Like I said, if you're meant to have somebody, you're meant to, have that kingdom spouse in a sense here, it's going to be aligned with you. Okay. It's just, you got to get into the space of being in alignment with that energy so that you can attract that person, that law of attraction. All right. Yeah. And creativity. All right. Creativity also as well. All right. For the feminines at this time. All right. That is it for the messages today. My phone's about to die. So if you want to get a personal reading off of live, the link is in the bio for that. You also got a couple minutes to till 11 to get the scrubs on sale, and the salt scrubs also as well, or the salt baths also as well on sale right now. You got to use code LIVE. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up off of here. Peace and love.